Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
everybody. We're covering true crime, and we have been covering the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan out of Nova Scotia, Canada. And I'm going to give you guys an update. This is part 2. I believe this is going to be a 3 or 4 part series on this as we break down this interview the Drunk Turkey Show had with Daniel Martell. Daniel Martell is these missing siblings' stepdad. All intents and purposes, he's not married to their mother, but he has known these kids and has acted like a parental figure in these children's lives since I think Jack was 1 and Lily was 3, something like that. They've been together 3-4 years. So I'm just gonna, I wrote out a little spiel on the history. So if you're coming into this case for the first time, you don't know where we are, or you've heard about the case, thought this case was solved, but then find out that it's not. I'm just going to go through some preliminary information that I think will be interesting to you guys. Also, we do have a political channel. We've been covering a lot of the political crime that's going on around this country, and we are going to continue to cover that starting next week. Part of our show is going to be designated into getting you guys up to date with the political crime around this country as we dive into the topic of conversation, which it will be Lilly and Jack Sullivan as well as Sebastian Rogers. So this case happened this year. Sebastian's case happened last year, but we're not going to complicate this too much. We're looking into the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, and what we learned yesterday kind of made us go, just a little bit. So let's get through this. In the quiet rural community of Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia, a family's worst nightmare unfolded on the spring morning, May 2nd, 2025. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack vanished from their home on Gairloch Road, sparking one of the most extensive searches in the province history. What started as a possible wandering incident has evolved into a mystery shrouded in speculation and unanswered questions. Today, over 5 months later, the siblings remain missing, with no confirmed sightings since the day before their disappearance. Here's the factual background of what we know, presented in chronological order. On April 30th, 2025, Lily and Jack, their mother Malehya Brooks-Murray, their stepfather Daniel Martell, and their younger sister Meadow went to Patty's house, which they said they were there to wash clothes, returning home around 10:20 p.m. However, when they returned, Lily had a black eye. Daniel stated that the black eye was from a Tonka truck that jumped up from the ground and smacked her in the face. The next day, on May 1st, the family was captured on surveillance camera at the Dollarama store in New Glasgow around 2:25 p.m. This was when they first called the children in sick, saying Lily had this cough. The children were kept home from school that day due to Lily's cough. Malehya later reported putting the kids to bed between 9 and 10 p.m., while Martell stayed up longer. Now, we've already learned, based upon this yesterday, that Daniel came in much earlier than 10 o'clock, and he remembers the children not being up when he came in from helping his mother with the fence. So I think we need to start looking on between May 1st, around 6 to 7 p.m. and on, as to what may have happened to these children, what could have happened to these children, because he sounds like he's distancing himself from Malehya during this very specific time. The next morning, on May 2nd, at around 6:15, Malehya is the one, according to Daniel, is the one that got up and reported the children off from school that day, notified the school that the kids would be absent, and that was due to Lily's cough. However, between 8 and 9:40 a.m., while the parents were in their bedroom with Meadow, Lily was seen entering and exiting the room several times, and Jack was heard in the kitchen. However, we hear from Daniel earlier yesterday. Go back to yesterday and check out the live broadcast we did yesterday of this first portion of this interview. And he states that he heard Jack in the kitchen, but there was no evidence of Jack being in the kitchen. Usually when Jack's in the kitchen, there's things moved and, things like that. And he said that wasn't the case. So a lot of mixed information here. At around 8:50 a.m., Martell's mother, Janie McKenzie, who lives on the property, said she heard the children playing and laughing on the backyard swing before falling back asleep. So children out running loose, nobody watching these children, allegedly. And the only person that was listening to the children fell back asleep. Around 10 o'clock in the morning, the parents searched outside before realizing the children were gone, noting the front door wrenched was undisturbed, suggesting they exited through the back sliding door. Malehya called 911 to report the children missing. Lilly was believed to be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots, and Jack was in blue dinosaur boots. During the search, Martell thought he heard a child scream, but couldn't confirm it due to the overhead helicopter. By 12:25, the RCMP issued a statement initially believing the children had wandered off with no signs of an abduction. They still have not walked that abduction statement back, or the fact that they believe the children are deceased. Now, these are several statements that they still have not walked back, so I have to think that law enforcement still believes that information to be true. An update followed at 4:55 p.m. with vulnerable person advisory. In the early hours of May 3rd, 2025, around 12:45, Malehya contacted police, suspecting the children's estranged biological father, Cody Sullivan, might have taken them to New Brunswick. I find that pretty interesting. The timing of that, seeing how Malehya Brooks-Murray does not appear like she has been cooperative at all, and then she points the finger at her ex, knowing he has had nothing to do with these children. Officers visited Sullivan's home around 2:50 a.m., where he denied involvement, having not seen the children in 3 years. That day, searches expanded. Over 100 police and volunteers using ground teams, dogs, drones, and helicopters. By May 4th, the search it involved 160 people, and Martell publicly urged checks at the border and airport for possible abduction, although law enforcement did not mimic his concerns as far as the abduction aspect was concerned. On May 6, Martell reported that Brooks-Murray had left and to stay with family and blocked him on social media. We know that she left shortly on, I think she was there May 3rd, and by the afternoon of May 3rd, she left and never came back to that property again. The children's maternal grandmother, Cindy Murray, stated that the family was praying for the return, but it was advised by the police to limit their media interactions. The search was scaled back on May 7th, the police stating no confirmed sightings and low chance of survival. So we know by May 7th, law enforcement believes these kids were dead and had zero chances of they say low chances of survival, but law enforcement pretty much told us that they're looking for deceased kids. A renewed effort on May 18th included 115 volunteers and police. On May 28th, RCMP confirmed the May 1st Dollarama sighting. By June 11th, 2025, the investigation involved 11 RCMP units, hundreds of hours of video, 54 interviews, some with polygraph tests, 488 tips, and seized items. Polygraph tests showed that Malehya Brooks-Murray and Daniel Martell as being mostly truthful. The way that it was described by the RCMP, it's making me say mostly truthful because the way that they said it wasn't the same as Cody Sullivan. For example, Cody Sullivan, they said he passed. He had nothing to do with it. There was no, but when they came to Malehya's, they said it was word salad. Is why it bothers me. It was word salad. So what did they say? They said something to the effect of, she was truthful when asked specific questions. And I'm like, truthful when asked specific questions. Like, I'm I'm kind of scratching my head here saying, wait a minute. Polygraphs are nothing but very specific questions. So what do they mean by that? So I know that there's a reason why they said it that way. Okay, I mean, granted, they're saying that her and Daniel are truthful, basically, if you're reading it, but it was so much different than the way they described Cody Sullivan's polygraph, okay? And so that tells me that they're saying it differently because there are different meanings here, okay? If they all three passed, then they would have the same exact language for all three of them, and they do not. And I'm going to trust my gut instinct on how they explain Daniel's as well as Malehya's, because it doesn't sound like they're as truthful as they would like us to believe, just in the statement. Okay, so I'm going to get off that, but I just wanted to clarify that. And of course, Janie McKenzie, which is Daniel Martell's mother, apparently has too many medical issues and substances that she's prescribed where she cannot take the polygraph or it being providing any real legitimate information. I don't know how true that is, but that's the story. That's what they're going to tell us. So on June 19th, Nova Scotia offered $150,000 reward for valuable information. Court documents from July 16th indicated the case was no longer considered criminal, and I don't believe that. I think that I got to look into that right there. Let me star that, because I'm not sure if that's accurate. But in August 2025, released documents reveal pieces of Lily's pink blanket found, one in a tree 1 kilometer away and another in a trash bag at the driveway with no scent trail. That's also been bothering me, this pink blanket. I feel like I felt the boot prints were staged. I think this pink blanket is staged, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I kind of have an idea. It's to throw people off, but where are they? A witness reported seeing similar children approaching a woman by a tan or gold sedan on May 2nd. But that wasn't reported until like 30 days later, and the lady had described children that were much older than Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So that's never been quite confirmed. And then, of course, over 760 tips and 80,000 videos were reviewed with forensic tests ongoing. The paternal grandmother called for public inquiry, citing prior child protection concerns. On May 19, 2025, RCMP announced that the use of cadaver dogs in the new search, and I was very concerned about that because I was under the impression that cadaver dogs were previously out there. But the way it's being described here is I don't think that is the case. As of early October, this just recent, the RCMP has fielded 820 tips and have been received, but the children with all of this still remain unfound at this time. The public sentiment has been marked by frustration and widespread speculation, fueled by lack of concrete updates from authorities. Many in the online communities, including true crime enthusiasts, on platforms like yours truly here, YouTube, as well as Reddit, believe the children didn't simply wander off, but met with foul play. We think that the parents had something to do with it, possibly an accident or intentional, at home or nearby, given the dense terrain and absent of traces. So rumors still swirl around the family dynamic, including the parents' estrangement and post-disappearance, and unverified claims prior to concerns like bruises on Jack. But we know for a fact that Daniel confirmed the black eye on Lily prior to her disappearance. Some family members, like the paternal grandmother Belinda Gray, expresses doubt the children are alive and rely on true crime shows for information, which have generated tips but also spread misinformation. Discussions also often highlight red flags in paternal interviews and neighbors' accounts, such as vehicles heard leaving the property the night before. We heard about a 5-gear something or other. It could have been an ATV. It could also have been a manual vehicle. Overall, the public feels the case points to something suspicious rather than a simple accident, with calls for more transparency from the RCMP. But there's still hope, and you can help. The Nova Scotia government is offering $150,000 for information leading to the children's locations. If you have any details, no matter how small, please contact the Northeast Nova Scotia RCMP Major Crimes Unit at 902-896-5060, or Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers. You can report anonymously, and that is at 1-800-222-8477. And we're going through this interview, and for those that would like to get up to where we are, the Drunk Turkey Show, I don't know this gentleman's name. I wish I did. I'd call him his name instead of calling him the Drunk Turkey Show, but we'll call it the Drunk Turkey Show. That is the name of the show. And he had an interview with Daniel Martell, which was pretty interesting because Daniel, for the most part, hasn't really provided any social media interview. All of his interviews have been pretty much with mainstream media out there in Nova Scotia. So a big kudos to the Drunk Turkey Show for scoring this huge interview and talking to him, and I didn't realize, but from my understanding, the gentleman here is a ex-cop or has some type of law enforcement history or background. I could be wrong. I may have misunderstood that. Daniel, thank you. His name's Daniel. Okay, well, I appreciate it. But if that's the case, I think he interviewed him so far well. I have not, what you guys are seeing here, I did catch on that he was doing this interview, and that's why I picked it up, but I am watching it for the first time with you guys, along with you guys. So we're having realistic conversations in real time as we are reviewing this together. But one thing that we did find out, or at least something that I picked up on yesterday, was that this whole May 1st, he really distanced himself from Malehya, Meadow, Lilly and Jack, because they said they went to the Dollarama, blah, 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 you know, a whole bunch of space, very vague. They came back to the house. His mother was working on the fence. He needed to go find his tools. Like, really weird. Like, obviously this whole fence wasn't expected. It was an unexpected, because, you know, usually if it was an expected task, the tools would have already been out. He wouldn't have had to come home and hunt for the tools. And you know, based on his own account, this evening he had to go and try to find his tools to help his mother with the fence. Okay, well, that's great. But we know he could not have been working on that fence in the pitch black. So he was in probably by the time that it started getting dark outside. I don't know when it gets dark outside in Nova Scotia. Folks in Canada, or those that do the almanac kind of stuff, is going to have to tell me what time it gets dark there. But he seemed pretty shocked that Malehya said that the kids were up until 9 or 10 o'clock that evening. He said he walked in the house and he had already thought the kids went to bed. Now, we've heard from everybody that these kids are very, very rambunctious. So there's no mistaking. If they're up, you're going to hear these children, okay? I make no mistake, in my humble opinion, if these children are awake, you are going to be hearing these children. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have said that as well. So this idea that he walked into this trailer and the kids weren't making noise, it sounded to me like he was trying to imply, knowing, you know, because this is not our first rodeo, it seemed to me like he was trying to imply that she's saying the kids were up until 9, 10 o'clock, but they were, you know, while they were with her, they were awfully quiet. He didn't see them that night. You get it? So it sounds like what we're going to be finding out. It sounds like how we're being led down this is that something is going to most likely have happened to them the night before, which is what we pretty much predicted early on in this case, that it most likely didn't happen that morning. It happened the night before. What happened? We don't know. But whatever it was, we believe that both Daniel and Malehya knew about it. Okay, we don't know if maybe the kids got into substances, maybe they hurt themselves, maybe there was a big family blow up and they got hurt, maybe, Lily had the black eye before, maybe the black eye was much more severe than they tried to make out, even though they were seen at Dollarama. How were they seen at Dollarama? Were the kids walking around? Were they moving? Or were they seen, sitting in the car? We don't know. We don't know. We didn't hear. We haven't seen. We didn't see them walking around Dollarama. We don't know. We only have information from RCMP saying that they were seen out in New Glasgow the afternoon of May 1st. But that's it. Were they walking together? Were they not walking together? We don't know. We don't know. But that's the interesting part that we have so far, is the fact that it seems to me that the kids were with Malehya, and there's some questions about the night before, and it seems like, Daniel's implying he was working on the fence and has no knowledge. So that's kind of where we're at. Thank you for letting me get you guys up to snuff. And so now that's where we're taking off from yesterday.
But when Lily poked in, I did go, shh, like, when she would come in the room, because she always woke up Meadow.
Oh,
same with Jack, but I mean that's what kids do too,
since
right?
They're talking about that morning.
Yeah.
We go
And
back
so,
just about a minute. Here,
They would go into the fridge. They would go into the other pantry and grab food if they wanted. Like they had unlimited food if they wanted to grab it. And they would go into the fridge, take yogurt cups and eat them, or cereal or whatever. So, but nothing was moved, Daniel. Nothing was moved.
And now they're being loud-ish. I mean, loud enough for you guys to hear them.
Yeah.
Your other daughter, Meadow, she was there though, right?
Yeah, she was actually laying beside me with Malehya.
Did you guys ever, or did Malehya ever tell the kids to be quiet? Were they ever waking up Meadow at any point with their noise?
In that morning, no. But when Lily poked in, I did go, shh, like when she would come in the room, because she always woke up Meadow. Same with Jack, but I mean that's what kids do too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, some folks are saying that, they may have walked out the back sliding glass door. That seems like the only logical explanation for them to have exited the house. You had something on the front door, correct?
Yeah, on the front porch, there's the front porch door, and then there's the inner door on the front. And I know for 100% they did not go out through that door. So, because when I went and got the keys, and tried to come back into the house, couldn't get into the front door, right? I had to go around from the back. And then I went out through.
I want to hear this, because he's really going through some explanation. And this to me sounds like convincing language. Let's go back about a minute.
Had something on the front door, correct?
Yeah, on the front porch, there's the front porch door, and then there's the inner door on the front. And I know for 100% they did not go out through that door. So, because when I went and got the keys, and tried to come back into the house, couldn't get into the front door, right? I had to go around from the back.
Get the keys from where? What is he talking about? What keys? What keys is he talking about? So he's making this whole to-do about the front door and how secure the front door is. I don't understand. I don't understand about the keys. What keys did he run out to get?
And then I went out through the front door.
Gotcha.
So that's how I know they did not exit through the front.
So he's just basically saying, oh, I had to run outside, get keys, whatever, wherever these keys were. What keys? I have no idea. And when he was trying to come back in, he realized that he came out the back door to go get the keys. And so when he went up to the front door to go in the house, the front door was locked. Now, this is way too involved, but I digress. Let's just keep going.
They exited out through the back sliding glass door.
Maybe.
Now, I've read in the documents that Malehya said something to the effect that the kids didn't always close the door behind them when they went outside. It kind of made it seem like there was times that they did. Is that accurate, or was that something that when they went outside?
The percentage that they would actually close the door behind them, it's very minimal.
But they haven't done it in the past, though, correct?
It's usually, Daniel, even I don't close the door all the way sometimes.
Oh, okay. And so it was all the way shut.
Yeah, it was all the way shut. fully all the way shut.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Did he forget he had a wrench in the front door so the bear wouldn't get inside? I don't know.
That is weird.
So, and
Yeah,
and some of the investigators, when they were here, they came all the way down to the bedroom, sat on the bed, and we had a dead quiet. And they tried to open up the door. Well, I think it was Mom who went out there and opened and just closed the door, and you couldn't hear it.
We know for a fact you could hear it. You could hear the clicking. We did this. We had this on our channel. They had the interview with the lady. We'll have to watch that interview. Let me put that on my list. Watch an interview with news lady that opened the door. That opened door. We'll have to get that on another one. And that's at 1901 on this one. So I can go back and reference on the DT show. Reference. Okay.
From inside the bedroom, sitting on the bed with the bedroom door shut.
Yeah.
So.
Is the door heavy?
It is heavy, but when the kids got their hands on it, they would have to put both hands on it and they could slide it closed.
Okay.
So
now they're talking about the kids having problems opening and closing it by themselves. Hey, Blue Eyed, it's nice to see you. My mom tells me, my gut still tells me Mom has them. I don't think she hid them. I don't see any reason for the purpose of hiding them, especially all this time later. If she did anything, she did something to them. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, I get what you're saying. I believe what you're saying, but I think you're being too gracious. Is my point. I think that the mom did something. Oops, hold on. Let me move this back. I think the mom did something to him. You know, like. Hold on, let me get this. Sorry, I'm trying to. There's certain things I like to do on this thing. There are just certain things that bother me. There we go. I want to get their faces on the screen as much as possible. Okay, anyways.
it is possible for them to close it. They just need to, work at closing it.
Now, so you wake up because there's been some time that you guys haven't heard the kids anymore, correct?
I woke up when Malehya woke me up. I'm pretty sure it was her who woke me up because we both kind of like woke up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying, as it says in the documents, she said, "I don't hear them."
I don't like that. As it says in the documents, I don't hear them, because he, at one other time, he tried to say that he was the one that said that. That he was the one that said that. That it was him that said, "I don't hear the kids," not Malehya. And then he changes it now and even indicates about the report. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's listen to that again. I don't like how he says this. I just don't. What does it mean? I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I just know that it doesn't sound right. Oh, I gotta start it. I hit something. Listen.
We both kind of like woke up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying, as it says in the documents.
As it says in the documents, yes, he has passion flower. He has. Just in my opinion, in my humble opinion, he's changing his story here. And he's referencing documents. I don't like that. I don't like it.
She said, "I don't hear them." But the craziest thing was, when I woke up, it was in the first 5 seconds that she said, "I don't hear them." Okay. And usually you would have to wait a couple you know what I mean? Or like 30 seconds or something like that, because it could be in the fridge, because that's usually what everything goes quiet when they're, grabbing food or doing something, right?
Yeah. And so she wakes you up. Would you have noticed?
Well, I think she woke me up, right? We kind of woke up at the same time, but I really don't know.
How do you not know? Well, there's reasons why they probably wouldn't know, and it probably has a lot to do with the substances they were doing the night before. which is what makes me believe that these kids, something happened to these kids the night before, either while the parents were on a completely bonked out whatever escapade, substance, whatever. But something happened. Something ain't right here. It just isn't right. Doesn't feel right. They're not acting right. The story is messed up. He seems desperate because he would never go on to a podcaster's show. He even made a point to say that early on, that he's not going on any podcaster's show. And then he's on the It tells me he's kind of getting a little desperate. Maybe there's things going on behind the scenes with law enforcement he's not really being forthcoming about, that's making him applying a little pressure to him.
Would you have noticed if she got out of bed?
No, I would have been sleeping. I didn't even know she called the kids in absent until I got the email on my phone.
So he's completely distancing himself. Okay? Completely distancing himself. Yet whenever she left the house, she left and never came back, and blocked him. That's not somebody, like, that shows me she's very, very angry with him. Because if she knew that she didn't do anything and he knew he didn't do anything, they would both be together trying to find the kids, and whatever personal crap that they've got going on, they'd wait until the kids came home and then end it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case here. This is literally within a day of those children disappearing, their entire family falls apart. Malehya runs away, ends the relationship, blocks him. They never see each other again. They don't have the children. It's a hot mess express, right? But in all of this, guess what? Nobody's really talking about the kids. Even him being on here, this is self-serving. This isn't to bring awareness to the children. You don't see any photos next to him. You don't see him having photos behind him of the children. He hasn't even stopped. We're literally 20 minutes in this, and he hasn't even stopped one time and showed a photo of either of the children and said, hey, these children are still missing. If you see him, please call, whatever. He's not even doing that. He's just sitting there, on a wood pallet bench next to a window in this raggedy ass trailer. Where's the photos? Where's the fight for information for the kids? It's all self-serving. It's to show people that he has nothing to do with it. It's Malehya's fault. That's what this whole thing is to take blame away from him and put it onto Malehya.
Well, I mean, you woke up when Lilly popped her head in, right? So you were
Yes, I did, because there's a lock on the door, right? Yeah. And I heard like the lock rattle.
So do you think though that in the time that Lilly popped her head in, and that woke you up, it alerted you a little bit, and the time that you fully woke up, do you think you would have been able to would you have the ability to tell whether or not Malehya got out of bed?
I don't know. Do you want to say that over again for me so I get I was just plugging in my phone, so I didn't hear you correctly.
No problem. So if you're already have been woken up, Lily's popping in, so you've already woken up to a certain extent, maybe not fully awakened, but you've woken up.
Good point, right? He keeps trying to play off that he's been sleeping this whole time, yet he's already made some crucial mistakes in his statement, saying that he saw Lilly pop in several times, heard Jack in the kitchen. So obviously he's not asleep. Good catch, Daniel.
Up to the point where you've acknowledged that the child has come in and out. Do you think in that moment, maybe not earlier, maybe not early in the morning, but from the moment that you were awoken, from the time that Lilly popped her head in to the time that you were fully awake, do you think that Malehya could have gotten out of bed without you noticing?
I think she could have, but you have to remember too, the baby was laying on her arm as well.
Well, she had to have gotten out of bed at some point if she called the kids in as sick and he didn't know about it. I mean, how could she do that with the baby laying on her arm without her getting up? So the whole story doesn't... Good job. I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that was a good question, and it really made me... I think he's breaking down this, because that I don't believe Daniel more and more, guys. I mean, listen to this. He seems like he's answering the questions that he's being asked, but he's not thinking about the questions he's already answered. Sandwich says he said Malehya had to go outside to get a signal to call the kids. Yeah! What the hell is going on? Hey, Henry. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if it's AI or Al Henry, AI Henry, whatever. Because I'm a love machine. I'm a love machine. There you go. There you go. He's a freaking, yeah, it's not making sense. It's already falling apart. I think Daniel's breaking him. Daniel's breaking his story apart. Maybe he doesn't realize it yet. Maybe it's going to take a little bit before they get wise. But this is his story starting to crumble here. Because, he had a strong story before, and now he Daniel's questioning him on these finer details. He's not making him feel like a pile of poop or cornering on these questions. He's just getting the answers on the record. And the answers are, could she have gotten out of the bed without you noting? He knows that he already answered that, but he doesn't know where Daniel's going with this. And so he's trying to, he is messing up. Yeah. I bet you, yeah. We know he's got some drug problems. And that could be a little bit why maybe he's so forgetful in some of these areas. I don't like to throw somebody a bone out, but sometimes it's not really throwing them a bone out. It could be true. Drugs do a lot of things to people's brains, especially the kind of stuff that he's been accused of doing, because that makes you stay up for days and days. Your days literally run together.
Like the baby was sleeping on top of her right arm.
So it's unlikely that she got out of bed.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but it is possible. I mean,
it's unlikely, but it is possible. Okay, now Daniel could circle back around to that whole thing about Malehya calling the kids into school. Maybe that'll trip him up a little bit more. I'd like to hear that, but
anything's possible. But I think Meadow may have be woken up when she's actually moving.
Meadow may have actually. Okay, I think he's starting to fill in stuff here.
Gotcha.
But it is possible, Daniel. I mean, anything's possible. This case is just an absolute circus, so anything's possible.
And so she wakes up. You wake up. What's the first thing that you do?
First thing I do when I wake up is, Malehya's right beside me, and she says, "You like hear the kids?" And then I listen for a few seconds. I said, "No, I don't hear them." So first thing I do is when I don't hear them, I get up and I, get dressed, and me and her make our way out to the kitchen. And this thing I still find odd to this day, I told investigators this, is Malehya didn't look in Jack and Lily's room when we went up, when we walked to the kitchen, right?
Okay.
So I
interesting. He is officially throwing her slap under the bus about these kids. Got 12 more signs to put out for Jack and Lily. Got 10 put up here in Ontario. Oh, very nice, very nice. Meadow was sleeping between them because he said Meadow was with him, and then says Meadow was laying on her right arm. He's by the door. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, there's a lot that doesn't sound right because he's answering the questions. He's not thinking of the questions he's already answered. He's answering the questions, and it's not doing well. He's not doing well for me in this one. I think Daniel's getting him.
I found that odd because we both walked up together up the hallway to the kitchen, and then I poked my head I looked into the living room, didn't see the kids. I ran back to the room, looked underneath their beds and stuff, didn't see them. So then we made our way outside, right? Malehya stood in the kitchen when I was running like a moron through the house looking for the kids.
It's funny how how he's putting all these new statements in. Remember, he never said all this stuff back when all this stuff was, fresh and going on. We got to go back and listen, because he was talking an awful lot. And he was making sure that she wasn't being beat up in any way. And now he's just throwing her a slap under the bus. And maybe that's because he knows she's not coming back. I'll never believe scripted right from the beginning. I believe that. Even her. It's like they realized, I think what had happened is they got into this plan while everything was going on, and they were emotional, and they started breaking down that day because Malehya just couldn't handle it. She knew people online were just giving her hell because she wasn't acting normal, because whenever you truly have a missing child, you can't fake that. Okay. You can't fake concern. When you start faking concern, it's because you're not really concerned, and it's your body. You unless you are like an actress, and even actresses in all reality, some of that stuff you see on TV is not reality. It's what they think is reality. Just a little food for thought.
And we made our way outside. We got through the fence, and then we're standing right in front of Mom's RV, and she asked me, should I call 911? Right? That's, kind of instinctual. You want to do that, right?
Right.
Because we don't hear them out in the yard. We never seen them in the house. We don't see them in the backyard. I didn't know if Mom was even at home or not, right? Because I thought she might have went with my Uncle Ron.
Weird, because she had no plans to go with him. Why would he think that she went with her Uncle Ron? They had no plans. Those plans, possibly of going somewhere, were asked of Janie that morning around 9 a.m. How would he have known that if this is the first time he's seeing his mother? Lies, and more lies.
Mm-hmm.
So she's on the phone with 911. I run up into the woods where the cabins are, and look in the cabins, look around the area, didn't see them. I'm screaming and yelling, Lilly and Jack, Lilly and Jack, Lilly and Jack. And then I make my way down. There's a hill behind Mom's RV. I make my way down, and Malehya's standing there. I'm not sure if she's still on the phone with 911. She might have been on speakerphone. Kind of looks like she was messaging, but she might have been on speakerphone with the the dispatch. And so I say, I'm jumping in the car. So I ran inside. I tried to go into the front door. Door's locked. Ran through the back door, the back sliding door, got into the house, grabbed the keys off the end table. Because there was two sets of keys, right? Keys. And then I didn't take my phone.
I thought he said he was outside to get the keys. Now he's saying he's running back inside to grab the keys from inside the house. Which is it?
Well, I don't remember taking my phone. Because there's no service out there anyway, not like I can use it. So I left my phone on the end table. I'm pretty sure I left it on the end table. Investigators would know that for 100%. So grab the keys, ran out to the Nissan Pathfinder, and that's when I started to search the dirt roads and the culverts, right? So I went up Lansdowne Road, and I already told investigators this, but that blanket was not there in that tree.
Which direction were you
heading? That would be when I'm coming out the end of the driveway, and I'm going right toward Lansdowne Road, over the tracks, and then hanging a hard right.
So you were coming the direction that would have been visible to you, and you didn't see it.
Yeah, I'd be going. I'd right.
How? I mean, it's a kilometer away. There's been so many times that I've been looking for something, can look right at something, look right at my damn neighbor, and not even see him out there in his driveway watering plants. I mean, it's insane. True, but not true. You know what I'm saying? It's a little insane. Let me move this over here. But the reality of it is that's the truth. I mean, I have been there. I have seen my neighbor. Well, I look right through my neighbor, and my neighbor will be up and talk to me. I'll start screaming because I didn't see my neighbor right there, but my neighbor was right there when I was looking at him. I was looking across the street. So if he's panicking looking for children, is he going to notice a pink blanket in a tree a kilometer away? I don't see that being a possibility. I mean, I don't know, but you know, it's awfully funny that he's pointing out he don't remember because he knows it looks planted. Because I think it is planted. The question is who planted it. If you look back, and we said this before on our show, and, you know, I mean, God help me if I'm wrong, but it just seems awfully interesting that there's a lone boot print right where his mother, Janie McKenzie, is allegedly fixing the ground to put a pool, which doesn't make any damn sense. Nobody knows where anything is. It's the first time they're talking about a pool, you know. But she's allegedly preparing the ground for a pool. But yet there's one lone child print there in that area all by itself, even though Malehya had Meadow on her hips standing in that same area, but somehow her footprint didn't show up, just the one lone child's footprint. And then you go over to the pipeline, and lo and behold, there's another small child print by the pipeline that looks staged. And guess what we find out when Janie is giving an interview? That she, that morning, when they realized the kids were gone, she went and got her ATV. Daniel asked, can he drive it? She said no, she went and got her other son. And they picked up who? Daniel. Where? By the pipeline, right before we hear of another boot print. And then, lo and behold, we hear of this torn pink blanket. Again, who had the motives, means, and opportunities for every single one of these was Daniel. Not Malehya, but Daniel. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Never really liked this story. I think they're both involved. I don't know what happened. But I definitely believe both Daniel and Malehya both know what happened. That's my prediction.
At the end of the driveway, I take a right. I'm going up the road.
Across the railroad tracks and then the right up of the dirt road.
Yeah, that's Lansdowne Road where the blanket was found.
All right. So when you're running around and as you're going outside and you're looking, that gate outside, is it always open? Was it unlocked? Was it locked?
Sometimes it's open.
Was it open that morning?
I do not remember that. I don't remember I don't remember.
Okay. And so you come around.
For all the beautiful people that are watching this show, if you guys could please do me a favor right now. We're about halfway through our segment this evening. If you go out there and give me a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. If you have some positive words of affirmation, it being a Sunday, please don't forget to plug those into the chat for everybody to hear. And if you wouldn't mind, please don't forget to share me on all your favorite Facebook groups that are covering the Lilly and Jack case. Thank you so much.
It's not hard to open up gates anyway. They're just slide. Like, I always forget to close. My mom always reminds me, but they're just a slide and bolt lock, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing hard about those locks at all.
Well, maybe not, but I'm just kind of curious because if you can unlock it and open it, but if you're on the other side of the fence and you're small, can you reclose it?
Yeah, you can. You can. All you do is just pull the fence close to you and then close it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so it may not be a clue there. So you're out there searching in the woods. How long before law enforcement arrived?
I was told 12 minutes.
Okay.
But then when I looked at the documentation and, asked questions and dug further, it was 22 minutes, I do believe.
And were you at the house when they arrived?
I was actually, when they were arriving, I was actually coming back to the house in the car. And I couldn't park in the driveway because RCMP just stopped in the yard, right?
Okay.
Is they were just starting to walk down and talk to Malehya. So what I did is I parked the white Nissan Pathfinder, because that's the car Malehya owns, the 2017 Nissan white Pathfinder. And I parked over on the right-hand side of the marsh, going toward Lansdowne Road. There's a marsh that's right beside the house there. Probably can pull that up on the map. There's a little driveway that's right beside it. It's about 100 feet from the house.
Okay. Around here?
Yeah, that's actually the marsh. And there's a little driveway right on the left-hand side right there. Yep. That's where I parked in the white Nissan Pathfinder.
Okay.
And then when I jumped out of the car, the RCMP yelled at me from in the yard, right? Because they could see me clearly.
Yeah.
And they said, Daniel, don't go back into the woods. So at that point,
Interesting. So now they're telling them not to go back into the woods, which is what that's typical protocol. I will tell you that. It's typical protocol. When they're out there for a missing person, they do not want you at all. They don't want you at all. Anywhere outside, they want to keep their eyes on you. That's why whenever things were going on in the Sebastian Rogers case, we knew whatever was going on with law enforcement, they were screwing it up because they kept the people inside the home. They allowed anybody and everybody walking in and out of that house, and that's not what you normally do. What they did in Nova Scotia is they locked everything down. They didn't want Daniel going out in the woods no more. They didn't. He was the only one moving about, you folks. Okay. He's saying she's the one that called that morning. He doesn't understand why she called that morning. You know, he's talking about the night before. Basically, he's saying he never saw the children the night before. He came in, he grabbed his tools. He had to go find his tools, help his mom on the fence. Whenever he came back in, the kids were gone or weren't up at the time. He said he didn't hear them, that he was surprised that that Malehya said that she didn't put him down until 9 or 10 o'clock. He doesn't recall them being up that late. You know, all this, that, and the other. And just, as this interview is progressing, you can see how he's starting to really put all of this on Malehya. Malehya did this, Malehya did that. He's distancing himself. He doesn't know nothing. All he knows is that he was sleeping, he wakes up, and this is what he wakes up to. I call bullcrap. I call bullcrap because you can't hear the kids and then say you're sleeping. You can't say that Malehya got up and called the kids for school if you didn't hear her get out of bed. And you're sitting, and even Daniel is questioning him. He's like pushing him, and he's like, could she get out of bed? Would you be able to know if she got out of bed? And he's like, no, I don't think so, but I guess anything is possible. But he just said in the other words that she got up to call the kids in for, absent from school. Well, did she do that while he was awake or while he was sleeping? Interesting.
I didn't go back into the woods. I walked over to the house and I went down and I was talking to my mother because the RCMP just, officers just swarmed Malehya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they asked you to stay there. They asked her to stay there. Did they look into your Pathfinder or the Pathfinder? Did they search it?
No, they didn't at all. No.
At any point?
Not that I know of.
No searching of the vehicles. So far, no physical search of the vehicle. And I just want to point this out because remember, Candace Owens says, who texts, I got to go back to my vehicle? I do. I say vehicle. Okay? I use vehicle as opposed to car or SUV. I know she's like a, conspiracy theorist anymore. And she's always wanting to blame Israel for something. But, just to let you know, Candace Owens, had a problem with Tyler Robinson saying vehicle because she felt like it was all set up, that it was law enforcement. I say the same thing. You guys watch me. No physical search of the vehicle. I even write it down. Vehicle, right? Vehicle. Okay.
Now, was this the vehicle that went with Malehya? Like, I think it was towed later?
Yeah, it was actually towed by Commander of Operations. The guy's name is Josh. And he was actually pretty pissed about where they left it. They left it right at the bottom of Lansdowne Road when they left.
Interesting. And so
yeah, he was pretty pissed about it. He said what he said is that goddamn fucking vehicle's always in the way of the search vehicles, right? So he said he's like, I had it towed out of here. It was White River Towing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about where it was left because they use that road quite a bit.
But he left it there.
And when it was towed, were you still in communication with Malehya?
No.
Okay.
And my wallet was left in the car. when it was towed. And then when I got my wallet back, everything was taken out except for my actual important stuff, like my driver's license, my bank card, my health card. All that stuff was still in there, but all the other stuff was taken.
Interesting. And did the investigators ever tell you that they didn't search it?
No, they didn't.
Okay, so there's a possibility that they searched it and just you're just not aware of it.
That is true. That could be true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they can't tell me everything. So.
Right. And it is her vehicle. So I'm not sure if they would come out and say, hey, we searched her vehicle to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they tell me lots of things, but it's just some things they don't.
Well, I'll ask you this. Did they search your other vehicles on the property?
I'm not totally sure. For the first couple of days, like I wasn't at the house, but I imagine they did.
First couple days he wasn't at the house. What does he mean he wasn't at the house? Every time we saw an interview, where was he? He was at the house. What the hell is he talking about? Did they search his vehicles or not?
Okay. Well, I would imagine that they would have. That would have been a big oversight to not do that. And I'm my assumption, it's just an assumption that the reason you don't know about it obviously is because, well, Malehya and you weren't talking. So at this point, you arrive, officers are talking to Malehya. How long before the search team gets there?
The search team was actually fairly quickly. They actually had the command center and everything set up pretty fast. They had a lot of different, I don't know what you would call them, search teams or dispatchments of different units. There's 23 different search organizations or search teams in Nova Scotia from each area. They have a total of 23. I'm not sure if all 23 made it here, but there was some from the South Shore. I mean, a lot from all over Nova Scotia.
So it sounds like the cavalry showed up. Like they called, the cavalry showed up, right? The cavalry showed up. So what I'm understanding here so far, like I said previously, it seems like he was distancing himself and he's really trying to show Malehya was with these kids, not him. And that's a problem for me because the distancing is now he's starting to distance where before he was always trying to say he was the one that took care of them. He was the one, she's the one that left them. She's the one that didn't, blah, blah, blah. Basically ever since she had Meadow, she didn't want to take care of the kids, that he was the one that was taking care of the kids. He was this, and this. And now all of this is starting to change as he distanced himself away from it. Yet he was the one in her vehicle, the 2017 white Nissan Pathfinder. How did they get such a nice vehicle? A 2017 white Nissan Pathfinder is not cheap. She's not working. He's working one day at the sawmill, and it sounds like they both have a substance abuse problem. Where did this vehicle come from? It sounds like he's saying the blanket was not in the tree when he was searching for them. He parked the vehicle where it was parked, yet the person was saying it's in their way, and White River Towing came and towed it. He's saying he does not believe that they searched the vehicle, but Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show is saying, are you sure? Would you have that knowledge? Because that seems like a very big oversight for them not to do that. He acknowledged that he could be wrong on that. He had no communication with Malehya. So they may have searched the vehicles. The time, however long it took them to get set up, Daniel's saying they were able to have the command center and the people searching for the siblings very, very, very quickly. So that's kind of where we're at so far.
And they had the Nova Scotia Guard called in. And the first helicopter arrived on scene within the first hour and a half, which was, I do believe I was told that's a record for making the first helicopter to a search.
That is pretty impressive, an hour and a half. And the dogs.
But they had drones out. They had drones out much quicker than that. They had drones up within the first 30 to 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
wow.
But I'm not.
And
Yeah,
how long
they-
before
I
the,
can tell
before
you,
the
I'm not.
dogs got
I'm
there?
not with that. I believe Daniel knows something. I don't care about the experts or anything like that. I have my brain cells, and I've been doing this a really long time. My batting average is pretty good, and I'm saying that this man appears to me to have a little more information than he's divulging, and that's from my experience.
The dogs came much later. They were there that day, but for the first, I don't know when the dogs actually showed up, but for the first few hours there was no dogs. There's no dog.
First
There
few
was no
hours.
dogs in the New Glasgow area. We don't even have a canine unit in New Glasgow right now, like in Pictou County. So,
So-
and Major Crimes told me that they said that we don't have a canine unit in Pictou County anymore.
Gotcha.
So, so a lot of the resources are coming from northeastern Major Crimes, which is the Truro area, like
Understood.
45 minutes to an hour away.
So it did take him some time to get out.
Yeah, but we had the best search dogs in the province at the house. They belong to Halifax Search and Rescue.
Good deal. And
Yeah.
so you weren't allowed to go into the woods. Where were you at during this time?
I was actually back by Mom's RV talking to her, and we were wondering why we couldn't go back into the woods. And then a number of minutes passed. I'd say about 10 to 15 minutes passed, and a guy in military gear, it said Oliver on the back of his on his shirt or vest or whatever you want to refer to it as, or uniform, we'll call it.
Yeah.
He actually said, Daniel, you can go back into the woods. And I actually believe he was later on. He was a canine handler, but I don't know if the dog was there yet at that point.
Understood.
Because I remember seeing him with a canine unit, I'm pretty sure, later on in the search.
And so you were allowed to go back in the woods?
Yes, and then I immediately jumped the fence, and I was right back into the woods, and I did all the streams that were up behind the house that lead into that little marsh that's actually to the left of the house you showed.
Now, I don't know how true this is. I've heard rumors of this, that at some point you heard a scream and you thought it sounded like the kids. When was
that? That was later on. That would have been, it was still on that same stream path when I was walking up through the woods.
Okay.
I thought I heard a scream, but you have to remember, I had a helicopter right above me. There was drones.
Drones. I'm sorry, I'm writing some of this stuff down for recaps for later. Screams. So he did confirm he thought he heard screams. I don't know. I would think that if they could scream when the helicopters and drones went away, they would be able to scream some more. I don't know. I don't believe the guy. I just don't.
There was already people searching at this point, so I don't know if it was actually a child scream or not, but it did sound like a scream, but it could have been somebody yelling for the kids, right?
That's possible too. Yes, 100%.
But it was so hard to tell because the way the helicopter was going, it was going slow and doing. I was like, I almost swear I could feel like the rotor wash that was coming down off of the wind, because sometimes it would go pretty low because the vegetation was pretty dense, because a lot of it's not hardwood, so there's no leaves, right? It's evergreen, so you have trees that are full of needles, so it's much more hard to get a good view from a helicopter through that stuff.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it being very difficult. At any point that first day, did they question you guys at all, as far as maybe perhaps?
Yeah, I actually sat in my mother's vehicle, and Commander of Operations came down from the command center, and me and him sat in there, and we went over some of the stuff we're going over right now. Did you know the kids are going to be home from school that day? Would you have kept the kids home from school that day? What happened in the morning? Did you see the kids that morning? This is a lot of the similar questions you're asking me now.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And that happened that first day. So nighttime comes in. Around what time does the search stop on the first day?
The search doesn't stop on the first day. They go right through the night.
Interesting. And when are you notified about a blanket?
If we're referring to the blanket that was up in the tree, or
Right,
just the blanket in general.
Well, let's rewind then. So there's been a lot of confusion that you had denied that the blanket in the tree was Lily's, that ended up being Lily's. Was there another blanket that was found out there?
There is actually another blanket. There's a full pink blanket. I was shown a picture of it, splayed out on the ground. Officer Karen Mason showed me that. She was involved in quite a bit of the, just back and forth stuff between the command center and me and Malehya and Mom and some of the people involved, and just trying to relay information, keep us up to date and stuff like that.
And this pink blanket that they found, was it?
But he didn't explain where the complete blanket came from. He went through all of this rigmarole and will not address the other pink blanket. So it sounds like Daniel's bringing him back to the pink blanket because he just saw him do the same thing.
Something that they found close to the house, or?
I'm not sure the location where it was found. There was a pink blanket. There was a water bottle. There was.
He's dismissive. He's very dismissive of this. Interesting.
A children's T-shirt. And there may have been.
I think it's because Daniel said that the pink blanket in the tree that you said wasn't Lily's blanket, ended up being Lily's blanket, but there was a second one, and then he goes into this, and I think he caught him off guard when he said that, and so he still just keeps talking and running in circles, in my opinion.
Socks too was showing me as well, but none of them belong to Lily's, right? I mean, none of them were Lily's, none of them were Jack's.
Do you know if all those items were found at the same place, or were they found throughout?
I'm not sure where they were found. I was just told that, or any of these items, Lilly and Jack's, we found them during the search.
Were they photographed together?
No, they were not photographed. They were photographed individually.
Okay, so most likely then they were not found together.
Yeah.
And around what time was this blanket, the full one that didn't belong to them? When was that one found?
That was found, it would have been during the daytime. So, because I remember I was actually standing on the front deck when she brought her phone up to show me. So that would have been sometime during the day. So I'm saying between noon and 4 p.m. probably.
So at 4 is when they found the pink blanket that was Lily's. That was a portion of the blanket, correct?
Yeah. I'm not sure on the exact time on that either. It would have to be after 4 because the school bus goes up there around 4 o'clock.
Gotcha. And
because that school bus, it goes up and it actually goes up and turns on my Uncle Ron's house, which is about 500 feet past where the blanket was found.
Gotcha.
So,
are we sure that the guy that we saw wasn't his uncle and they keep calling his dad? The one that was cussing that one guy out, that, because I kept hearing that Daniel's dad's dead, but everybody kept saying that guy was Daniel's dad, but he's talking about his uncle.
And the bus usually goes up there, and the bus usually makes its way up there around, I don't know, 3:55, between 3:55 and like 4 o'clock.
And this bus has cameras, correct?
Yeah, the buses do have cameras. When they looked at the footage from the outside of the buses, the blanket was not there.
Interesting. And it went both directions, correct?
Yeah, they both go both directions. They have multiple buses.
Planted. I think he got busted planting it, and now he's trying to distance himself from it.
And it was not seen at 3:55, 4 o'clock when the bus passed.
No, they said they did not see it on any camera footage from the buses. So
that is how far is the search command from where the blanket was found?
From the piece of Lily's blanket that was found in the tree, the actual command center itself.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, when you look at Lansdowne Station Road on the map, I'll just wait for you here to set that up, and then we can take a look.
Yeah,
I'll give you the exact location.
So here is, do you see it?
Yeah, so that is, Lansdowne Station Road. As soon as you're going up Lansdowne Station Road, you go across a little bridge.
It's this direction?
Lansdowne Station.
Oh, this direction. Okay.
Yeah. So Lansdowne Station Road, there you go over a little tiny bridge.
Okay.
I don't know.
Have I gone too far?
Yeah, it goes right on Lansdowne Station Road there. There's a little bridge when you're going down. And then you see, when you're seeing right around that turn there, that's where it is. You just headed on it. Right past that little dirt road there, that little gravel pit dirt road, yeah.
Why, I'm just curious, but why would they make command so far south of where you guys live. Did they say anything about that by any chance?
I'm not sure the actual reasoning for making it there. I know it's a road that's they had a long stretch going down that hill, going to the command center, so everyone could park their cars. Because there was hundreds of cars there, Daniel.
Now,
Search vehicles. They had to move in, RCMP SUVs and everything, right?
so how long after law enforcement arrived at 1027 did the command post get set up? Was that like the first thing that happened?
I'm not sure. I was actually in the woods for a lot of that, Daniel. So I don't have like a clear time that was set up. Clear time that I could say the setup like began or was completed.
That is quite odd that they would have let me move this off. So they're saying that down here, right here, is where this command center was kind of set up. That they go through a little bridge, over a little bridge, and then there's a command center. Their house is way up here. And the command center is down here. And that is quite a distance away from the road. Like quite a distance. I don't know why.
So around what time were you notified, and how were you notified about the pink blanket that belonged to Lily?
The pink blanket that belonged to Lily, I wasn't notified at all about that. I was actually told there was a piece of a pink.
His family are wasn't it Cheryl that found it? Cheryl or Logan? I mean, Cheryl was Malehya's best friend. Logan is Daniel's cousin, right? And it looks like right here is the blanket. Here is their home. Here is where the command center is. So they were quite a distance this way, but it would have been out of the purview of, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this.
Blanket that was found up the road in a tree, and I said, piece of a pink blanket. And I put two and two together. I ran out to the garbage bin, and I seen that there was a hole ripped in the bag.
And he didn't go out to the garbage scene. He's skipping a whole lot, because he said on a different interview that he brought a family member and he recorded it as he walks out to the garbage can to see if that blanket was in there. Now we're hearing a bag was ripped. We were hearing that Logan and Cheryl were having a problem where that pink blanket was to begin with. Somebody said it was on the rail of the outside, as you come into the front door. And others said, no, it was in the garbage can. And they were arguing back and forth. They did that on the Criming Shame channel.
And
a shaming crime.
Clearly there was somebody who went into the garbage or something went on with the garbage for a piece of that to be ripped out. Because usually when you look in the garbage bin, Daniel, and you see a garbage bag, usually it doesn't have a hand-sized hole ripped in the side of it.
Yep. But why would anybody do that? The only people on the property were them, their family, and the police. That's it. So why would they now do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. So we're going to be leaving it there. We still have quite a bit to go over. We're still not even close to being done. We'll be going over this. So tomorrow morning, we're going to be taking an hour going over all the political violence going on around the country. And then we're going to be diving back into this interview with Daniel Martell. I'm also going to be giving you guys a call to action. The call to action for this is going to be what? Reaching out to the deception detective. I'm interested in finding out what he has. I haven't been on his channel in a while. He may have already broke this down. I don't know. I hope he is. I hope he does. We will see. But thank you guys again. I'm Bullhorn Betty. It's Sunday. I was trying to decide whether to do a live today or not. So I've been really kind of figuring out what we're going to be doing for the show. So starting tomorrow, I've got to set up, and I may have to do it live. We might have to do it together live if I don't have it done before we go live in the morning. But I'm going to be setting up our political show as well. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I think what we really need to talk about on this next show, the topic of conversation, I think is going to be what cooperation law enforcement is supposed to be providing the federal government at certain stages. Because what we just saw, and I just heard that went on in Chicago, I never want to hear again, where officers were told to stand down while officers were being ambushed, federal officers being ambushed. I would like to say this to all of my law enforcement family that's out there. That is completely unacceptable. I don't care about your job. I don't care about the chain of command. You might, and I get that. But you know what? In our world, we do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because it's popular, not because it goes without consequence. Doing the right thing has consequences. But if you are wearing a badge and you are there to serve and to protect and to uphold the Constitution, I don't care what your superior officers tell you. If you see that there is somebody in danger and you have the ability to help and you are wearing that badge, by God, it is your job to help. I don't care what type of petty political politics is going on. We do not turn our back on our brothers and sisters in blue. People could have lost their lives and you would have had blood on your hands for standing down. Please don't be that douchebag. Please don't be that douchebag. I love my men and women of blue. I love my brothers and sisters of blue. Please don't be my enemy. Because I tell you one thing, you turn your back on another brother and sister, you have a scarlet letter. I want nothing to do with you. I burn the house down. I burn the house down. I will drag you for everything. I will throw you under a bus. Right now, I want the head of that. I want the chief. I want him to lose his job. I want him to know what it's like to be made an example and a fool of. That's what I want. So we'll be working on that. But I know we have a lot of brothers and sisters of the blue. I know you guys have a chain of command, but you also have your integrity and the reality of upholding the Constitution. I don't care about chain of command. You follow the law. You follow the law. If you have a corrupt head, then it's your responsibility to start doing whatever you need to do to get that head back in line. But at the end of the day, you cannot allow to have brothers and sisters in harm's way. So take it for what you will. God bless each and every one of you. I know life is getting hard. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better here in America. But that's what happens. We didn't get like this overnight. And by God, it's going to take us hell to get back to where we once were. But we are all committed to doing that for the betterment of our future. So anyways, God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow.